Good morning, everyone. It's 10th April 2017. Welcome to this edition of ProAMT Traders Digest. Let me go through the disclaimer first. Trading in stocks derivatives involves substantial risk of loss and not suitable for all investors. Past or simulated performance is not a guarantee of future results. All indicators, strategies shown in the video are for education purpose only. All levels discussed in this video are for understanding the study and not a recommendation to trade. Please consult your personal financial advisor before making any trade decision based on this video. We will not be responsible for any resulting profits or losses. So it's beginning of new week, and before getting into the hypothesis, let's have a look at the micro composite charts as well as the projected levels for this week and the how the sectors perform. So first we'll go through the micro composites. So here I've drawn a volume composite here. Cannot see another composite because this is like a channeled move up, and cannot see another micro composite in this zone. So one micro composite is here where the VAL is 9096 and the VAH is 9121. Above that directly we have this composite where the VAL is 9240 and VAH is 9264. So there was initiative selling from here, and any push into 9240, so if it stays above 9240 and then is able to create value into the 9247 zone, then this selling would be negated. But till then there are all chances, because this all looks like very mechanical buying. At the channel bottom they went on buying, so there are all chances that we revisit this 9121 and maybe even 9096. But depends on what it does today and how it shapes up. The monthly VWAP went sideways and then slowly started coming down, but it's the monthly VWAP is trading above the VWAP on the first closing day. So that's also an important reference, though the price is below, but the monthly VWAP is higher. And the yearly VWAP is rising and has reached 8791. Now, why this the importance of yearly VWAP will increase, that we'll see in the weekly chart. Before that, let's go into the bank nifty micro composite. So bank nifty also same year, we have a double distribution kind of balance, but after that there's no balance, almost a channeled move up, and then after this gap down forms a balance, but it's very narrow. So I tried to profile this entire balance from where it broke out. So this was the freak high. Above this we don't have any traded high during the day. So when it broke out from that consolidation, I started plotting the micro composite, and I have stretched till here, because maybe this auction is not complete, because it has all of a sudden come down from the point where it started breaking out, and all chances that it might again go into the 21470 and try to probe into the 560565 zone. So that is one of the probabilities. In case it starts building value below 2146 7460 kind of zone, then we'll watch out what it does at 347. And then if it starts pushing down, if it starts getting supply here, because there's a lot of supply coming in from above. So if still the supply continues, we might revisit this 21265, and there we'll see how it shapes up. Now, going into the sector charts, IT was the worst performer with minus 2.20% close from the open, and PSU Bank the second with minus 2.02%. FMCG third with 1.72% and CNX Pharma fourth with 1.48%. The best performing was CNX Infra, and last week I was anticipating pharma to fall further, and still I think that this week also it's still weak and might still fall further. And when it's too stretched out, too short on the downside, that time I think we'll look for a mean reversion in pharma, maybe towards the end of this week or beginning of the next week. That is where I want to be cautious on selling pharma and try to build longs, because it will be like too stressed out. Inventory would be like extreme short, and Nifty and Bank Nifty are negative from the open. So negative from the open of the week. Now let's have a look at the weekly projected levels. So what I was talking about the VWAP, there was like on a broader term, like a very extreme long term. If we see, we have this entire lower balance, and then this almost like 2.5 years of balance here. So if we plot this entire balance, then the VH comes at 875055 kind of zone, and that was the reason while going up I was assuming that once it accepts above 8850, because that was the only point that we could lean on. Once it breaks above that and accepts above that, puts puts it into a extreme long term bullish trend, and such trends are difficult to break. But when they break, they might like consume a lot of time. The fall won't be that easy and that organized. It consumes a lot of time and very confused moves, and might want to probe into the POC of this balance, which is 8130 8135 kind of zone. Now, weekly, we had a 3 week balance happening with the fair price around 8145. And uh, again, maybe the weekly has started one time framing up, whereas the daily has started one time framing down. So daily was one time framing up continuously, and uh, uh, into the balance it one time framed up for like 6 days, and now we have one time framing down on daily. So that is an important point to note, that the weekly and daily trends are in conflict, and even monthly is one time framing up. So there are still no signs of reversals on long term, and short term reversal is done, but needs to hold on to lower levels to so that it materializes further. Now the projected high for the week is 89318, and the projected low is 9104. It has been 2 weeks we have not probed any of these levels. We have not probed the projected high and the low since 2 weeks. Now let's see Bank Nifty. On the Bank Nifty, this is the this is 1 week that we have not probed the highs and the lows. The projected high for this week is 21772, and projected low is 21111. So there is a drop in the average range, and that range is now almost like going flat, and that is where generally the reversal happens once we had noted this. Now the CCI is also trying to come below, is already below 100 and trying to push down further. Let's see what is there on the daily. On the daily, it has already given a sell and needs to push into the stay below 100 and push into the zero territory for further down move. Otherwise, there are chances that it might reverse back from here. Now let's see what Nifty did on the profile. So open in range, goes below and fails and comes back. So the first sign of failure into this breakout zone. This was the place where it broke out, and the first sign of failure here. Pushes higher, makes an inside bar and tries to break down. This breakdown effort is nullified, and a dicey trade here. I was expecting that from here when it breaks out and reverses, would go to 74 because that was a very visual zone, but did not go, and I didn't want to book it too early. So waited for that confirmation. We'll see the reason why I sold it while we do the hypothesis. But from here, an inside bar, J and K open almost same, and K tries to probe higher, fails, and pushes back down, takes out all these stops in one go. So this weak low was taken out, poor low or weak low. After that, a spike down, leaving an extension handle behind, and then M period also stretches down. Now, overall, the inventory is extremely short on the day time frame, and probability of returning towards 9245 is there. But at the same time, 9240 is a strong resistance now, because first time it has shown a initiative selling move. So that might act as a roof for any move higher. On the downside, the likely probe zones are 9186 and 9168, because those are prominent POCs left behind. This is like extremely prominent. Both are like aligned with 2 days. Also, we didn't get a neutral extreme, and it panned out to be a neutral day. Now, on the 3 minutes, from the beginning itself, started pushing higher, but there was like no demand continuously. Then when it went higher, comes down and there is no supply. So the volume dropped completely, all of a sudden pushes higher. Now when it pushed higher, this was like met with other time frame sellers. Now that other time frame can be the sellers who have been selling these highs, because see, you can see a lot of selling coming in from these highs, and they can be those guys who are wanting to sell it because of extremely beneficial prices. uh, from there it tries to test higher, but there is no demand when it probes higher and finally breaks down. So one reason for this breakdown was this 56, which was from where this high volume zone had started and formed a doji kind of candle. So break of that, that was 57. Plus there was a zipper on the Renko chart, and I relied on that zipper. The zipper low was 56.20, and I relied that trigger at 56 would work for a short. Now on the 15 minute, we have no demand coming in here with a doji. That no demand is taken out. It comes back and breaks that no demand. Now a very weird move here, and this was the reason I was saying it was looking confusing, because I keep a watch on this, that if the supply is getting absorbed on the 15 minutes, obviously a 3 minute would give a better entry at a better location. But if the higher time frame is doing something, that would give a better move. But now this, there was no supply, but also it was not able to create any demand. Finally, all of a sudden, it again creates a no demand and then breaks out. Now this breakout when fails is gets a bit dicey, but that finally we get no demand no supply combination here. So again the same thing, the break of that, once that happens, and the break of that is a trigger for the trade. Now I was expecting that it goes and pierces into the previous week's high. That happened, but I was not holding on to the trade. And that's again another thing to learn, that no matter how much we analyze, but end of the day only how much we can trade and how much we can carry home is the profits that we carry home comes into the account. Rest of it stays just on the chart. Now here this one impulse happened, and I was expecting that this impulse like would carry later on, and that's why not exiting. Now this low is 55, then it tries to push higher, creates a zipper. So either ways we can consider this 54.40 as the trigger point, or we can consider this 56.20 as a trigger point. But once this has like gone and it's making a lower high, then better is that the earlier entry we get, the smaller the stop loss. Also going into a visual level, the selling was already prominent here, and then the chances are higher that it falls, and was a nice move. I was expecting a hit into this, and that's why I exited at 38. And then we get a pullback into the mid and impulse down. Again, a pullback, impulse, but fails and creates a zipper. So, this zipper is the thing to lean on. Now, let's see what we can expect for today. So, let's mark this HVN because there is a zipper there, two zippers, morning swing and this zipper. Mark this because the last traded price is there, and we need to mark this LVN. So series of resistances higher which can be maybe pierced in one go. So expecting that it does like this, pushes into this, pushes into this zipper, fails and comes back here, or creates value here and then falls back into the lows, and then continues its move down, tries to pull back up, and then finally pushes into the 9180 zone. If it finds buyers there, then try to push back. Any push back from there might again try take it higher into the 9240 zone. Excuse me. In case it gets accepted above the 9245, then it might try to push above the highs and then continue its move up into the just below the all time highs, or maybe even make a new all time high. So that is one probability about 245. In case it pushes above 245 and fails near this 260, then again we'll follow this path and look for the downside levels. Now let's have a look at Bank Nifty. So open inside range, and then creates a balance. The value is being created below this fair price. So this was the breakout zone. This was a balance, and then if you can see this is a complete balance. So it's creating value within that. So chances are that it will If we see this, the highest traded value seems to be somewhere here. So I would expect that that will be probed. uh, in the morning I thought that it will go and break this once, because there is an anomaly here and this prominent POC was there. So they remember these levels, and I was expecting break into this 480 level, but it pushed way below that, and has closed also below this balance. So the stem of this balance is the only support left below for further down move. This is the support, which is also the low. Now this low becomes weak, and below that I'm expecting a push into this 21,270 zone. Now on the 3 minute, a huge consolidation and then a breakdown. Now the volumes all of a sudden picked up, and the volume is was like less than previous day, so the supply was not that evident like it should have been. But maybe the previous day, due to RBI policy, many people were excited, and a lot of shuffling happened at the announcement. Almost like 450k shares traded, so that can be the reason for less volume on Friday. Also, there would be like people worried about taking fresh positions. Now, on the 15 minute, this move might seem a bit more clear. So, nothing happening on this. Breaks, tries to break out from this. There was this pivot high, so very visual. So, tries to break above that, and it's also the 50% retracement of previous day. So, it has become their habit that it goes into some fib level and then either breaks down or breaks out. So this was like a one time framing move down on 15 minutes, and pushes into the 127% extension and then stalls. Now this selling was the result of this. Somebody has created huge positions into this churn. So let's have a look at the hypothesis. So on the Renko, a clean move impulse breaks out from the opening swing. This is the opening swing high and the opening swing low. So breaks out from that impulse, pullback, impulse goes into the zipper at the previous day's close as well as the pivot point. So goes there, tries to break down, is gets support of the day mid, pushes up into the weekly VWAP, again comes down, breaks that pivot of the day mid, but is supported by this zipper, is not able to break this zipper low. So tries to push up again, breaks this pivot, is not able to break this pivot, and then finally impulse down. So once these zippers are gone, that's a sell trigger, pullback, impulse, pullback, impulse, pullback. This becomes messy because this zipper is quite near to this, and then again goes sideways and the final impulse. So this we can either consider like one impulse, pullback, and an impulse. Now let's see what we can expect for today. So this becomes important, and this is quite visual, becomes important. This morning swing becomes important. So expecting the close is here. So expecting a push into this, fail, and try consolidating, and then finally push into the 350 zone. In case, because if it opens inside the range, the chances are it might want to go and rotate here and repair this entire zone. So from here also it might try to pull back, and if it starts accepting into the 585, then expecting it to push through this consolidation zone and then go towards the adjusted close of Thursday. In case it gets rejected, then again follow the lower path, and otherwise break through that to higher levels. So I think that's all for today, and then we'll take it as it develops. Thanks for watching and have a profitable trading day ahead.